Humanity had searched the stars for centuries, broadcasting messages into the void, building great radio telescopes, and deploying probes with golden records. But all they received was silence. No signal, no echo, no life. In desperation, Earth founded Project Sentinel, covert, ultra-deep space listening array hidden in orbit around Neptune. It listened with precision that bordered on divine. And then, after 29 years, it heard something. Not a message, not a broadcast, a whisper, like the cosmic equivalent of a heartbeat. Repeating, timed, intentional, but faint. It was coming from deep intergalactic space, far beyond the Milky Way. The United Nations of Earth debated disclosure. Was humanity ready? Could it risk being noticed by something that hadn't wanted to be found? Dr. Adira Nyong-Oh, lead astrophysicist, argued, "We didn't find life. We found fear." A team was formed: linguists, cryptologists, theologians, historians, war tacticians. In a chamber beneath Geneva, they attempted to decode the pattern of the whisper. What emerged wasn't language, but emotion. It was terror, raw and ancient, a kind of warning. The whisper's pattern was a pulse of fear, a panic woven into space-time itself. Not directed at humans, broadcast by something fleeing, something hiding. A classified archive was unearthed from a Cold War-era deep vault, anomalous readings from 1977 that matched the modern whisper. They had known something was out there for decades, and kept it buried. Just days after decryption began, a Sentinel probe went dark, then a deep space telescope, then the relay on Triton. The team suspected interference, but it wasn't technical. Something was removing them. An old radio astronomer, Dr. Ivan Yelchin, came out of retirement and said 5 words: "You found what fled extinction." He warned them to stop, to forget, to erase what they knew. Despite the risks, humanity launched a ship, the Lumenfall. Its crew, handpicked from Earth's best, headed toward the source of the whisper. When they crossed a certain boundary, all stars behind them went dark. The Lumenfall recorded gravitational voids where galaxies should have been. Ancient stellar graveyards, not from entropy, but from sudden silence, as if something had erased them in one sweeping, devouring act. They found it life. Not one, but dozens of alien vessels, adrift and damaged, hiding in the lee of a black dwarf star. Hushed, shielded. Survivors. A council of the lost, who named themselves the Vanished Choir. Through slow exchanges of radiation pulses and quantum translation, the choir shared fragments. They spoke of a predator, the devourer of light, drawn not to planets, but to thought itself. Civilization attracted it. Signal summoned it. It was not a creature. It was an absence made aware, an emergent force that fed on complexity, drawn to ordered systems, especially those that shouted into the void. The more intelligent species, the faster it found them. Humanity had been broadcasting for centuries. Earth was a flare in the void. If the Devourer hadn't found them yet, it was coming. The Vanished Choir begged them to go dark, cut all signals, dismantle civilization, or be eaten. Back on Earth, panic erupted when news leaked. Governments fractured between dark Earthers, those who advocated for global silence, and light-bearers who demanded preparation for war. Civil conflict ignited. Adira Nyong-Oh returned to Earth and addressed the world. "We will not go dark, but we will not shout either. We will learn, adapt, and listen better than we ever have." Project Echo began, using entangled quantum receivers to monitor the stars without emitting. Orbiting black site labs created the cloak, a solar shield of nanodust that wrapped Earth in a communication blackout while mimicking natural emissions. Humanity's voice went silent, but its eyes opened. A signal. Faint, but near. The choir had warned that the Devourer sometimes used bait, fake distress calls to trick rescue attempts. It was one such lure. But inside the false signal, they found a human signature. Inside the Devourer's trap was Voyager 1, or what remained. Something had copied its message, but distorted it, warped it, and embedded in it was an echo of Carl Sagan's voice, saying, "They know you now." The Lumenfall approached a binary system veiled in artificial light. At its core was a dead star, artificially reignited, used as camouflage by another group of survivors. These beings, crystalline in form, called themselves the Silence Keepers. The Silence Keepers showed the crew holographic memories, galaxies collapsing in seconds, worlds consumed mid-sentence, species blinking out before their last breath. The Devourer did not arrive. It did not hunt. It awoke. The Lumenfall's crew, the choir, and the Silence Keepers formed a desperate alliance. They would seek the Ark of Refrain, a lost station rumored to house the only civilization to ever repel the Devourer. If existed, it held the key. Back home, encrypted transmissions from Earth's hidden satellites reached the Lumenfall. A Lightbearer faction had hijacked a military array and was preparing a massive broadcast, ignoring all warnings. Earth risked everything. The choir revealed an ancient weapon, less a weapon and more a signal. A harmonic frequency embedded in silence itself. When sung by multiple species in perfect phase, it could cloak entire planets from the Devourer. One of the Lumenfall crew, Commander Rice, betrayed the mission. Believing the only solution was annihilation, he escaped with a drive core and began transmitting coordinates across the void. The Devourer had a new scent. The Silence Keepers activated their fleet, 100 ships veiled in perfect darkness. Their purpose, delay the Devourer, and by the Alliance time to reach the Arkansas. They would not return. The choir and Lumenfall began training together in harmonic synchrony. Through vocal resonance, thought links, and neural music, they began tuning their consciousness into one unified frequency, a psychic firewall. Across the void, waves of entropy began to ripple. Stars flickered and died without reason. Nebulae unraveled. The Devourer was close, not in space, but in concept. It approached like an idea. The Alliance reached the edge of a black dwarf singularity, a perfectly stable gravitational knot. Within, cloaked beyond all perception, was the Ark of Refrain. It was not a station. It was a song, encoded in quantum structure. Inside the Ark of Refrain, they met its last guardian, a being of light and shadow, calling itself the Architect. It spoke through harmonics, a being older than galaxies, who once guided civilizations through the age of first signals. The Ark revealed ancient memory cores, echoes of extinct empires. One memory showed a galaxy devoured in a day after a celebratory transmission. Another revealed a species that silenced itself permanently to survive. The Architect shared the final protocol, a decision tree embedded into sentient thought. It allowed species to evaluate whether to evolve in silence or burn in brilliance. Earth had reached the final branch. Back on Earth, the Lightbearers activated the transmitter. A signal pulsed across the cosmos, a farewell, an invitation, challenge. Then the line went dead. Earth vanished from all scans. The Devourer arrived, not as ships or beasts, but as decay. Information degraded. Quantum memory unraveled. The choir began to lose memories. One by one, they forgot their homeworlds. Commander Rice returned, partially consumed. His consciousness flickered, voice echoing. He revealed what he had seen. The inside of the Devourer were civilizations dissolved into entropy. The Lumenfall crew, choir, and Silence Keepers performed the chorus weapon, a frequency of defiance, not through violence, but through unity. For a moment, the Devourer hesitated. Earth reappeared, not physically, but as sound. The cloak and the chorus had combined. Earth was now shielded by music, living resonance encoded into space-time. The Devourer recoiled. The Devourer split itself, becoming ideas, whispers, doubts. It attacked not with force, but temptation. Some choir members turned against the Alliance. Others dissolved. The battlefield was within. Dr. Adira Nyong'o entered the Ark's core. She faced a vision of Earth burning, an illusion. She sang the song of Refrain, and in doing so, bound her consciousness to the harmonic defense. She became its guardian. Across the galaxy, sentient minds felt a pull, a unifying signal wrapped in silence. Adira's song became a pulse, reaching every species still hidden in the dark. It whispered, "You are not alone. Come quietly." For the first time, the Devourer paused, not halted, but confused. The signal from Earth was not information. It was meaning, a resonance that could not be consumed. The predator could only feed on structure, not soul. One light-bearer, Elon Su, remained on Earth. He decoded a buried message in Voyager's corrupted signal. It was Sagan's voice again, this time saying, "You must become the silence, not the absence, but the music between notes." More hidden civilizations emerged, drawn by Adira's pulse. The galaxy bloomed not in light, but in harmony. Life that had once gone dark began singing again, low, careful, collective. The chorus weapon scaled. Millions of voices across species contributed to the resonance. The galaxy was no longer a loud scream into space. It became a song of shadow and defiance, layered and subtle. It defied the Devourer's hunger. The Devourer collapsed toward Earth, a conceptual wave. No matter, no sound, just the end of endings. But when it reached the cloak, it encountered not resistance, but reflection. It saw itself. Inside the cloak's quantum lattice, the Devourer's hunger was mirrored. It became trapped in a feedback loop of its own absence. It could not consume what was unspoken. It began to fragment. Adira's form faded. She had become more than human, part signal, part song. Her last words echoed in every mind. "We are not loud. We are not silent. We are resonance. We endure." With a final ripple, the Devourer collapsed into subconceptual dust. No explosion, no light, just stillness. The stars blinked back on. Memory returned. The galaxies began again. Humanity became keepers of the pulse. The vanished choir, the silence keepers, and countless others gathered under a new banner, the covenant of listening. They would explore but never shout, reach out but never scream. Once we searched the stars for others. We screamed into the dark, desperate to know we weren't alone. But life was never absent. It was only hiding. And when we stopped shouting long enough to listen, we heard the truth. In a galaxy filled with silence, the quietest voice can become the loudest echo. We are still here, still singing. And now we are never alone. Like what you just experienced. Subscribe for more mind-bending HFY stories and sci-fi epics that explore the power, paradox, and perseverance of humanity across the stars. Like the story? Drop a thumbs up and share it with fellow sci-fi fans. Got a theory about the Devourer or want to share your favorite chapter? Leave a comment. We read them all. Hit the bell so you never miss the next broadcast. The galaxy is listening, are you?